Welcome back to the Cowboys fans, everyone. Today we're diving into the post-game reaction after the Cowboys finally avoided going winless in the preseason. They came away with a 31-13 victory over the Atlanta Falcons, and for a team that stumbled through the first two games, this one felt like a breath of fresh air. Now, it's time to grade the Cowboys' performance. Was it an A, B, C, D, or F? Look, this wasn't a flawless performance by any means, but it was a massive improvement over the first two preseason matchups. I want to hear what you think. Drop your grades in the comments section, and let's see how fans are feeling after this one. Before we get into the takeaways, a few injury updates are worth discussing. Miles Sanders was initially reported as inactive, which made it seem like he might be safe for the 53-man roster. However, he did not play due to an injury, and that raises questions about his chances. The running back room is shaping up to be a tough call during roster cutdowns, and this makes those decisions even trickier. Jaydon Blue also faced challenges. He was on the field, but without ideal blocking, his snaps didn't result in much production. He left the game with an ankle injury, and his stat line 9 carries for 25 yards, averaging less than 3 yards per touch, doesn't exactly inspire confidence. That said, his touchdown run and the fact that he gained more yards after contact than before are positives. Post-game, he was walking around, and Brian Shanamer suggested it doesn't appear to be serious. I'm cautiously optimistic that Jaydon Blue will be ready for the start of the regular season. Trevon Diggs' status also warrants attention. Clarence Hill of DLLS Sports mentioned that he spoke briefly with Diggs before the game. The cornerback is targeting a return around week 2 or 3, but he won't be ready for week 1. This is a key point for roster management because it leaves questions about who will be available in those early games. Diggs seems healthy on the field and has been communicating with teammates about his rehab, but his exact timeline is still uncertain. Will he remain on the PUP list or be activated sooner? We'll know in just a few days, but for now, the over/under on his return seems like around week 3.5. Let me know your predictions in the comments. When do you think Trevon Diggs will return? Now, let's talk takeaways. The Cowboys won, and yes, it's only the preseason, but context matters. In the first two preseason games, Dallas combined for 0 first downs and -4 yards of offense in the opening quarters. In contrast, this game produced 2 touchdowns and over 100 yards in the first quarter alone, a dramatic turnaround that shows measurable improvement. Infinite growth, if you will, from a team that was struggling early in the preseason. And for Joe Milton, tonight was a much-needed confidence booster. He completed 10 of 18 passes for 132 yards, tossed a touchdown, and contributed on the ground. This version of Joe Milton was far better than what we saw in the previous games, more accurate, more comfortable, and better able to showcase his arm strength and mobility. There were a couple of throws that weren't ideal, but overall, he delivered a performance that could solidify his role as the Cowboys' backup quarterback. How would you describe Milton in one word after this game? I'd go with better. Let me know your take in the comments. Running back Deuce Vaughn was also noteworthy. He got the majority of snaps over Jaydon Blue and made the most of them. Vaughn was solid in blitz pickup, punt coverage, and on the ground, finishing with 10 carries for 42 yards, much of it after contact. This raises questions about roster priorities in the backfield. Who stays? Who goes? Does Deuce Vaughn make the 53-man roster? Let me know what you think in the comments. Your opinions could be spot on for how the Cowboys approach these final roster decisions. Defensively, James Houston continues to make plays. He logged 3 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, a sack, and a quarterback hit, all while playing deep into the game. He's a consistent producer, but with roster cuts looming, there's always the risk that even solid players like Houston could be on the bubble. Peyton Turner may be the designated run stopper, but Houston's versatility and production make him a player worth keeping. Edge rushers remain a point of focus, and for fans tracking these decisions, every snap matters. Ozzie Smith also caught my eye tonight. While some of his tackles came on relatively easy plays, he had multiple notable moments that shouldn't be overlooked. He was one of the more visible defensive linemen late in the game, and moments like this can help cement his place as roster decisions come into play. The camera may have caught him walking off the field at times, but performance over a game is far more telling than perception. Finally, who deserves the game ball for this one? Some might overthink it, but the obvious choice could be Brian Shanmer for his first win as Cowboys coach. But on the field, Milton, Ryan Foy, and several others also deserve recognition. Foy in particular had a strong game and may have solidified a roster spot with his performance. The Cowboys leave this game with a 31-13 victory, which may not change the world, but after the rough start to the preseason, it's exactly the type of momentum boost fans needed. At the end of the day, the Cowboys showed growth, resilience, and flashes of real talent. The preseason may not carry the weight of regular season wins, but the improvement is undeniable. With roster cuts approaching, injuries being managed, and performances like Milton's and Vaughn's, the Cowboys are trending in a positive direction. Fans can leave the game feeling more confident about the roster, the playmakers, and the overall outlook as Week 1 inches closer. Looking ahead, the key question for Cowboys fans is consistency. Can the team carry this momentum into the regular season? Preseason wins are nice, but what matters most is translating flashes of brilliance into full game execution when it counts. Offensive line cohesion, running back efficiency, and defensive playmaking will all need to hold up under the pressure of meaningful games. The performance tonight gives reason for optimism. Players are showing growth, confidence is building, and the coaching staff is starting to see the pieces fit together. But the next few weeks will be critical in determining who ultimately earns a spot on the 53-man roster and who will be left fighting through waivers. With the regular season looming, the Cowboys are setting a foundation, and this victory, while modest in the grand scheme, could be the spark that carries them into a strong start.